Big Mark, what up? What up? What up? What up?
What's good, Chris?
It's another Monday night. You know how it is. Late night woke. You gotta be woke or you might wind up broke. Welcome everybody. What are y'all doing up so late? It ain't even really late. It's only 10:30 Central Standard, but it's about 11:30 on the East Coast, and that makes it what? 8:30 on the West Coast. Welcome to the Future Cash Flow Club. This is just a late night little room. Going to be talking about some real estate. Going to be talking about some wholesaling. Going to be talking about some entrepreneurship. Going to be talking about some small business. Going to be talking about some big business. So good to see you all. And is going down. Big Mark, what you been up to, man?
Grinding, Chris, man. I mean, I know I probably sound repetitive and whatnot, but honestly, that's it. Grinding, getting back on my P's and Q's with this real estate.
I know that's right. Yeah, I kind of slowed down myself here for the last couple of weeks. I think they tried to catch me slipping with the Rona, but I'm going to bounce back on them like the rubber band man. Wow, it's a Taliban. You know how it is. So I ended up, kind of hiding out for a little while, but I got to come on back out, get some old deals so we can pay some old bills. You know how that is. So yeah, welcome everybody that's just jumping in. This is the Future Cash Flow Club. In this club, we talk about real estate. In this club, we talk about some crypto. In this club, we talk about Turo, car sharing, and more. If it got something to do with getting to the bag and building up the future cash flow, that's the place you want to be. So I want to welcome you all. If you do want to come up and chat, raise your hand. We'll bring you up to the stage and we'll see if we can help you get paid. So for those that don't know, my name is Chris Monroe, the student master teacher, Mr. I Stay Woke. I do some real estate investing out of St. Louis, Missouri. Started off with wholesaling real estate, quickly shifted over into creative financing of real estate. That means buying real estate without using my credit and many times without using my own cash. Now, I know you hear these things sometimes and it sounds like, yeah, you did it, you did it. I can't do that. But I'm here to tell you, yes, you can do it too with the proper training, the proper conversation, and the proper of the problem solving. Peter Piper picked a pack of proper peppers. That's all you need. Is that a lot of peas? So if you can do all that, you can make it happen. So I mean, it's a lot of things that you hear in real estate. I should flip this property, or I should do this, or I should do that. But I really like to look at it like a quarterback. I'm about to get the ball. I take it before I take the hood. I look at the defense. What are they giving me? What is this defense leaving open? Is it a pass play open? Is it a run play open? Should I do the quarterback sneak? Hopefully that analogy helps somebody because going into these deals thinking about one thing, I'm going to wholesale it, is a huge mistake. Or what most of you agents do, I'm going to list it, is a huge mistake. It's so important, in my opinion, to look at the full situation, see what's really going on, and truly try to assist or help that person, and we'll make money in the process. Why do people do that, Mark? Just kind of go in with that mindset that I gotta wholesale it, regardless of what the deal presents.
Chris, I think it's a lack of education, a lack, not a lack of education. That plays a factor, but it's more so a lack of imagination.
Now that could be it. That is possible. The lack of imagination. I like that because sometimes you have to imagine, and sometimes you have to create good deals. Because sometimes you could think something is just what it appears to be. But when you dig a little deeper, this person may have, a problem that you can solve more than just one way. It's more than one way to skin a cat. Uh-oh. Do you like cats, Mark?
Not at all. They make me sneeze and my throat feels like someone's choking
Oh
me.
my gosh. Here we go. Everybody hates the cats. But you love dogs, right?
I do prefer dogs over cats, but I'm no longer an animal lover of any kind.
Hey, we're living in the same boat because if it ain't taking care of me, what am I taking care of it for? But I guess people got different things they want to do. So that could be a thing too when we're dealing with these houses. Some people have that problem of one, finding where they're going to move to, and then two, what if they're moving somewhere and they can't have the pets? What are they going to do with their cats or dogs? It's really something that, can make a big difference in how you're going to pursue this transaction, and it can happen. What's going on, Kaylani? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Everybody up late, staying up late and trying to be great. You working on some good stuff or what?
Man, Brittany and I have been working all day. We were also on the road, so we're just getting in, getting settled. And I was like, let's see what's up on Clubhouse. And here you are. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little pop up room. I just threw something together just to chat a little bit. Nothing really spectacular or major, just to, build community because I don't see too many, real estate rooms in the hallway or anything. I see a lot of other stuff. And I've been even checking out some other apps as well, like Fanbase, like Twitter Spaces, and they don't do any real estate rooms at all. Can you believe that?
Yes, I know. And so we have been recently talking about, and we've done a couple Twitter Spaces rooms, but Twitter hasn't been my main thing, so I don't have nearly as large of a following as I do on here. But we've been trying to break the Twitter Spaces uh lane too. So whenever you do rooms there, let me know and I'll be more than happy to hop on and see what we can cook up.
I'm supposed to be doing one with some other people tomorrow. I think around what is it, 1 Eastern? So I think that's 12 noon tomorrow. It's a real estate agent and another investor. Some people I met on Twitter. So they like, yeah, they saw me do a room the other day. So they were like, let's do another one. We'll be glad to jump in. So we'll see how that goes. That's tomorrow, 12 o'clock, supposed to be. Are y'all doing any more of those pop ups for the women in real estate?
That's a good question. So we um our pop-up tour is complete. First of all, oh, thanks for
What?
sharing.
We need it back for 2022.
Well, we're not leaving y'all high and dry now. We have kind of just restructured how we're approaching events, and it's actually a lot more exciting for us. So the event you came to, the development diversified development summit, that's coming back either in March or in April. We haven't set the date yet. That's going to be in Houston. But that had a development, spin, and that was specifically for that.
Well, that definitely makes it easier with some sponsors, make you feel better. You don't have to come out of pocket for this mess. So it could definitely make a game changer with that. I did my first event last year, and it was just like a little pop up too. And I didn't think a lot of people were going to show up. I think we had about 35 people, and it was just a little local event here in St. Louis. And I was like, oh wow, I was just messing around. I didn't promote it or anything. I just put it on my story and in my Facebook group, and people showed up. I said, oh,
There you
there's a
go.
need.
Yeah, you would be surprised. You would be surprised how many people, because that's one of the cool things too. Is like, well, and we've noticed a lot of places, but in particular, we went to Cleveland, right? And we did this event there. And as we're, leaving and winding down, literally everyone was like, "When are you coming back? When are you coming back?" And we looked around and we were like, "Y'all can do this. Y'all can do exactly what we did here. You don't need Brittany or Kaylani to physically be in the space to create this. You see what we did here, repeat, duplicate it, and do something for your city, do something for your community." And so it just surprised me that nobody had that attitude about it. And so you'd be surprised at the response that you get when you actually take something on that people find to be too cumbersome, or, they don't feel like they're equipped to do. And not everybody can necessarily be the one to do it. But man, Chris, if you've got a following, you've got a solid following, I would definitely be doubling down on those efforts.
Yeah, I just look at how much work it takes, and I'm like, oh, do I want to work that hard? I don't mind helping out, but I don't really want to be the main person like you and Brittany do, because like you just said, it's like, wow, everybody looking at me for every little thing. No, I don't want that. So I don't know. Maybe that's the way I'm looking at it.
Hey, look, it's a team effort. We This year we had to bring on some staff, and we had to, yeah, we have, yeah, our members take on a lot of it for us, and those partnerships, it's a team effort, man. So I know you you have a lean operation. I'd say we have a lean operation too, but man, we had to get some help.
There's nothing work because teamwork makes
The
the
Dreamwork.
dream.
dream work.
You know it, you know it. So, if there are any women listening, the women in real estate, what's that about? And are you still accepting new members?
Oh man, heck yeah, we are. So, Women in Real Estate it started here on the platform. We created the club. Brittany and I were on the app back when it was in beta, when ClubHouse hit the scene at first. So we realized very very quickly that there was a need for representation, equitable conversation, and safe spaces for women to talk. We started using our voices very early to make sure that there was diversity on these stages, making sure that women had access to the same information, if not better information or resources. And so we very quickly, our followings grew very quickly. We created the club Women in Real Estate, which is what's pinned at the top of this room here. It's ranked number 2 for the top real estate club on all of Clubhouse at this point, and it's still growing. I think we're 500 or so members away from 60,000 on Clubhouse. And the community just grew so strong that we started getting requested to do things off of the app too, including the events like we just spoke about. But we started a mastermind group, which is morphed into our membership, offline. And it's a kind of subscription model where we get together regularly. We're bringing education, accountability, support, and content to all of our members. We've got a foundations course, a tax strategy and legacy planning course. We've got business credit course that Los did. We've got a career development course there, and then we're still, we are going. We've got a course coming up right now. We're about to start another series, live recorded for series module series with Patty Goodspeed. I think you know her, for lending landmines and investment loans. Then the series after that, we're actually walking through minting an NFT. So we're bringing like all the information, all of the critical resources that any woman or supportive woman, I would say entrepreneur in the space needs to set their business up for success.
But I think the most important thing that we're doing is providing a community that helps you get to where you're trying to go.
Right.
Because there's so much information, but nothing beats being able to pick up the phone and call somebody when you have a question, or when you need a resource, or when you need a connection. And that's really like the power of Wire, is providing all of those resources to take the education and turn it into an actionable game plan and achieve the goals that you have every year.
Right. And that's true. We see it all the time. People buy courses. We have members that have bought courses and courses and courses and haven't budged. Right. Haven't done anything. So how are we applying the information that you actually learn? Who's holding you accountable? And what does your support system look like? Like, that says a lot about what you got going on, because a lot of times, oftentimes, especially as women, we're caretakers and providers and doing everything for everybody else. But when it comes to our dreams and it comes to, our goals and aspirations, do you have an idea that you can go and talk to someone about that doesn't think that it's too big? Or do you have a business that you want to start but don't have the support to do so? Like, having the people, and I used this example earlier today. I could tell someone in my family about a business idea that I have, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, good luck with that. That sounds like a lot. And then I turn around and I tell Brittany, I'm like, yo, I got this idea. And she's like, let's run the fucking play. And I'm like, bet, let's do that. So who you have around you can really make or break your your spirit, right? Your spirit, your success, if you're not careful about what that support system looks like. So if you're not getting that kind of support internally or in your home, that's okay. That's not uncommon that we're finding. That's okay. Well, you need to find out where you're going to get it. And being around people that are all on a journey together makes the world of a difference, because all of our it's a community. Like, it's so selfless. We share information and resources like together without hesitation. We want to see each other win, and that's the community that we created.
Now that's powerful. It looked like Mika, she felt that. Did you feel what they were saying, Miss Tamika?
I actually did, because, you'd be surprised how many people you could come to with an idea or a business venture or something. And if they're close family or some close friends, they look at your idea and they're like, Okay, yeah. Let me know how that goes. That sounds interesting, but they're really not, interested in motivating you or pushing you. It's always good to have people in your corner or, a friend or somebody that's going to actually keep motivating you and push you and support your ideas. So I felt that.
You gotta feel it, and I'm still amazed that there's still a large group of people that don't really like to learn online. They really like to learn in person. Have you seen that as well, Kaylani?
Yeah, it's a lot of there's no replacement for human face-to-face interaction. So the online course and content, if that's your learning style, that's awesome. But really what our members are, the value that they're getting is not only the support, but it's also the proximity, right? So when we host events or we're, going places, people are actually there for the connections. My network is huge. Brittany's network is huge. You never know on any given day who's showing up to one of our events that you're going to meet, run into, be able to network with, or even do business with. And so I it doesn't surprise me that that preference for in-person, learning or networking is still there. I think we have the best online program that exists, male, man, woman, and non-binary, regardless. And yet nothing has replaced the connections we've been able to build in person. And that's what we've done through our pop-ups, and that's what we continue to do. Every trip we have planned this quarter coming up, we're planning a meetup at in that city because it's necessary.
Well said, well said. Let me see what Rochelle thinks. Rochelle, do you think you learn better in person or on the internet? What do you think?
In person.
In person. Uh-oh. But
Yes, sir. I'm a hands-on type gal.
but you can look on the Zoom and you can hit your keyboard and your mouse and all that.
Mm-mm. No, let me be in person.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Cause I used to think, that I had to learn in person, then I started learning online, and I'm like, well, I think I can learn anywhere. Just be a good learner, I guess. Be a good student. And that's what it's all about. What about you, Miss Jessica? What you think?
Hi everyone. I think they are both in person and online. Is effective. I think it's like once you learn it, you have to actually put the work in. But I do agree with when you all were talking about like family, like being supportive. I do feel like getting into these groups and organizations is the best because that's your support is gonna come from strangers. And that's just something you have to overcome. Your family, your friends, in the beginning, they're gonna be like, okay, but they gonna be on the sideline. Some of them gonna think you gonna make it, and some of them gonna be like, that shit not gonna work out. So your support comes from strangers. Now, granted, when you do get up there and make it to whatever goal you have set, then I'm sure your family and friends will follow along. But for me, learning online and in person has been effective as long as I push myself to put in the actual work once I learn.
Well said, Miss Jessica. And that seems to be the biggest thing with learning in person. That accountability piece. Online, you can put it off for later. Or I'll do it tonight when I get off work, or I'll do it early in the morning. We can put things off to later. But in person, it's right then and there. The accountability can make you do it now. What do you think about that?
Yes, and it's definitely in person. For me, it's easier to make connections because I'm one that I'm always quiet and I really don't, say a lot. But if I'm in person, like I'm pushed to say it because 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be around strangers, and once they're gonna be asking questions. So, I love going to events in person where I can learn and network at the same time.
You said the powerful word network. We got to get in that network when you meet people in real life. And really, I think that's where the real action is at most of these events in the hallways. The people you get to meet walking by, hey, yeah, you look familiar. Hey, yeah, what do you do? And then you practice your elevator pitch that you've already perfected from being on Clubhouse. And before you know it, you got a new friend. So I want to welcome everybody that's just jumping in. This is the Future Cash Flow Club, late night woke real estate talk. Just having a little chat. If you're in the audience and you want to come up and contribute or have a question about real estate or anything, come on up, raise your hand, and you can come on up to the stage. Let's see who else just came up here. Mr. Terrence. What up, my man?
How you doing today?
I'm just drinking some alkaline water. I see you're the alkaline investor. My
Okay,
alkaline
okay,
water count?
okay. Yeah, you talking my language. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I just wanted to add to. I kind of came in and heard the end of what you guys were saying. I kind of feel like I'm not sure that I think her name was Jessica who was just speaking. I'm kind of somewhere along the lines with what she was saying. I think that when you have something to do, or you need to learn something on the fly. If you have to learn it in person, or if you have to learn it over the computer, you just need to get it done. So I think that a little bit of both will come into handy when it comes to trying to move forward or progress forward. Because some things, like especially with now with the climate, you're not going to be able to do in person, or a lot of people, will be a little more hesitant to do in person. So if it's time for you to get something done, you just got to get it done.
And that's my mentality. Whatever it takes to get to the finish line, whatever it takes. How long will you try until you get your first deal? Until you get your first deal. That's what I think. What up, Miss Candles and Tenants in the building?
Hey, how you doing?
How many tenants you got? How many candles you got? Quick.
Ooh, tons of candles and working on attendance. I keep getting them outbid.
I know that's right. You got a short-term rental or something, right? Or Airbnb type unit you're doing?
Yes, Uptown Charlotte, which I'm actually about to move out of because I've learned, you know how you always used to have those rooms like arbitrage against, ownership. As someone who's tried arbitrage, I think ownership is definitely the way to go. And not just because you're the owner, because you just have more control over the things that pop up.
So wait
And
a minute. You're saying you rented the place from someone and did what they call arbitrage, and you wanted to rent it and then sublease it to someone else on a short-term rental basis. Did you run into some problems with that? What happened?
yes, so my tenant stayed for about 3 months, and when he moved out, it turns out that he was actually reporting directly to the leasing office because they knew there was a lot of short-term rentals, but that the washing machine was leaking. He thought that that was sufficient, so he never let us know until he was about to move out. I found out that the apartment building didn't address it, or they did. They ordered a part that was going to take 3 to 4 weeks to come. In the meantime, it's leaking. Come to find out, he moves all his stuff out of the closet. He had quite a bit of things there because he was there for 3 months. I started to see all this mold in the closet. So I look in the HVAC closet, which was right behind the walk in. There's mold in there. So now I'm like, okay, are they doing like patch jobs, cover up jobs? Because when I moved in, none of that stuff was there. It was perfect. Because you know, you can kind of paint over mold. I mean, you can hide mold if you really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So it was never properly addressed. And I feel like it was just an ongoing issue in the building because then I started to reach out to other people who were there and they've had some of the same issues. So now we have a maintenance problem, which wasn't apparent from the beginning because when you don't have any issues, you first move in, everything seems like it's all good because the maintenance guy is coming when he's supposed to because you're a new tenant, you know? But then you start to realize after a while, this maintenance guy is not on the same type of schedule. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to start bringing in your own resources, which becomes another task costing you extra money. So it's just better to own, what's going on there. You know that you can get someone there, or you have someone on your team that can get there and address things in a timely fashion because reviews are everything. So if I had somebody come and saw even a little piece of something that even looked like mold, they would get on Airbnb and trash me. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to cut ties. It was a great experience. We learned a lot, but now I'm in the buyer's market and I'm just trying to get a deal.
So that person that you were leasing from, how did they feel about all of that? Were they upset that you were basically breaking the lease?
Let me tell you how not only did they try to kick out all the short-term rentals. Couldn't. We all got together, had a lawyer draft up a letter because they were trying to pretty much self-evict, because turns out they were selling the building. So they sold the building to a company that does not allow short-term rentals or doesn't like it. So the way that they were trying to move people out was they took away the guest code that was on the door downstairs. So now someone has to physically go and let guests in and things like that. So it became such a disaster, and things you don't foresee. Like, you don't know that someone's going to decide to sell the building in the middle of your, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what you don't know until you actually just get out there and take action and try. And that's pretty much what we did. We learned, we came into your rooms, we went in a lot of Jay Massey rooms, we learned what we could, and we just put it into effect. Now, we made some money, we lost some money, but now we know what to do going forward. So I have no regrets. It was a great experience, but ownership is the way to go, 100%.
So you said you lost some money. How did you lose money?
So when we had the mold issue, we tried to get the city involved to get them to really remediate it, because they went in there and they painted over it, and they wouldn't
Oh
supply me with a
no.
letter. Yes, they would not. I said that I need a letter that says what chemicals you use and that it wouldn't reoccur. And I wasn't gonna have a tenant go in there until I got that letter from them, because if somebody put some liability on me, I wanted to make sure that the apartment building was really responsible for it. So if you can't provide me something like that in writing, I can't have somebody stay here. So now I still have to pay you rent because I'm in this lease, but now you're also in the middle of selling this building. So now I'm in this like limbo of who am I talking to? All these different people are emailing us back from the sales email and stuff like that. It was such a nightmare, to the point where I got on the phone with the new manager with the new company. I was like, listen, we need out of this lease. We'll give you 45 days. We've been through, I sent her chains of emails and back and forth. I went with the city, with the building, with everybody about this mold issue that I felt like was a bigger issue because of air condition problems that they had. I mean, it was a disaster. And when you walk in there, you would not have thought any of this was going on, which is the craziest part about it. It's uptown Charlotte, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it was in some like, secondary kind of neighborhood. Like, it was a very it's very desired. It was by the Panther Stadium. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm not expecting all these things, but hey, I just went out there. I had enough information to be dangerous, and I tried it. And like I said, it wound up being not such a bad experience. I'm not completely upside down, but it winds up being like a break even situation.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. And even though that the people were, looking to sell the building, that doesn't change your lease. Am I right about that, Kaylani? They can't just change the lease because they're selling the building, right?
Right. Leases have to be honored. Leases have to be honored. Now they can offer, cash for keys. They can, go through some eviction processes given that they have cause for eviction. But if there is no cause for eviction, they have to honor the lease, and can work on other creative strategies to get tenants out. But that should have come with a cash offering, considering that the property was in good condition.
Yeah, so they were pretty much operating on other terms, like I said, making it pretty difficult for people to make it easy to have guests there that don't live there. And their concession was like, oh, we don't have anything to do with what the other management company, blah blah blah, we're not responsible for that, so we'll let you out of your lease. That was their pretty much given to us, like, we'll let you out without any penalty or anything like that. But
How
in
about
the
if y'all buy me out of my lease? That's what I tell them. Maybe I'm a little aggressive, huh? Buy me. I don't think I want to leave, but if you give me 5 grand, I might want to leave now.
that was my attitude. But after 3 months of just or probably almost four, of dealing with the nightmare of it, it was just like, I need out of this now. I'm about to just reposition myself, get a better system in place, get into some ownership, and that's where I am right now. And to answer your question, I think that you need a mixture of both in person and virtual learning, because there are certain circumstances where obviously you can't be in person, but found that I've taken online classes as well as I've gone to Clubhouse Lives and different seminars or RIA meetings and things like that where I've met people that not only given me or told me, promised me private money and things that I have like agreements with them, but I've also been able to get subcontractors, and going to Clubhouse Live actually led me into my arbitrage deal. Being online has taught me a lot, like Clubhouse and like I said, taking different courses. So you do need a good mixture of both. But I would say just go with where you find your best learning. Some people are hands-on learners. Some people learn more when they can teach it back, which, like you always say in the learning period pyramid, that's the best way to learn, when you teach back to people. But like I said, there's different learning styles, but mix it up a little bit.
You weren't supposed to know about that learning pyramid. You remember that? I dropped that on them. They was like, "What?" So
Yes,
good
Chris.
stuff on them.
I don't come in these rooms playing around. I take gems away. If you take your time to sit on this stage and give us knowledge for free, I'm gonna make sure I take something away with it and put it into action. Whether I pass or fail is is, is irrelevant, but I'm gonna try out here.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. No reason to sit up and listen to somebody teach and don't even take notes. So you telling me you got a notepad and a pen right next to you there?
Always, whether it's notes on my phone or an actual notebook, I'm always taking notes.
Cool beans. Thanks for sharing that experience with that short-term rental. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, lots of things can happen in real estate, but what are you going to do when things aren't going the way you planned them to? So I want to welcome everybody that's just jumping in. This is the Future Cash Flow Club. This is the late night woke real estate talk, just talking about some real estate and things and chatting it up. And it looks like we got Dr. Barbie. Are you really Dr. Barbie?
Yes, I
Well,
am.
welcome to the stage. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, Chris? I love your energy.
Oh, why, thank you. I'm doing great, and I'm just trying to spread the good energy to the other people that are listening, because sometimes people are down, sometimes people are up, but whenever they're around me, they always up.
I receive it. I'm definitely up, and I definitely took some sleeping meds. So, you still have me up. So your energy is real through this Clubhouse app.
100%. Are you doing anything in the real estate space? Are you looking to get in it?
Oh, I do a lot in real estate and stocks and e-commerce. I deleted my bio because I mistakenly deleted it, but I was like, I'm not about to write this whole thing out again. I'm okay. Just see me on Instagram or hear me in a clubhouse room. Yeah, I'm into real estate. I own all my houses. I definitely agree. I was clicking my mic when Candles was saying that she definitely wants to own. Yeah, best way to go. You can pay off your house that way. Um, yeah, I think I only have about, I would say I'm a baby in real estate, but I'm big though. I have about 10 homes. Almost, well, technically 11. I own
Can
a
I buy one?
building.
Can I buy one?
Oh no, I'm keeping all
Oh,
my houses. I got them for steals. No, what I do is I'll tell you what I do, Chris. I take my homes. I have an amazing contractor too. Oh my God, he's such a beast. He finishes my restore in like literally 2 to 3 weeks. Like he does not play. I love my wine. Like he is amazing. When I tell him to jump on something, he jumps on it, no matter what state it's in. But what I do is I purchase the home. I usually get my homes for a steal. I don't buy them for more than, I haven't spent more than 50,000 for the past 8 homes I purchased. And I just closed on a home 2 weeks ago. I paid like 8K for it. But I just go in, fix the homes up, wait for the market to flip it over, take some pictures, um, do Airbnb. But while I'm doing that, I also as get it access basically appraised and basically take the money out on it to purchase more homes. So that's how I constantly go back and forth, like just get the house reappraised, purchase another home, reappraise, purchase another home, just take the money out, and I do it over and over again. Now, I use Airbnb to basically pay for it. So I spend no money out my pocket at all. I get to keep all my money. Um the only time I don't get to keep my money is when I'm doing the restore, but that's pretty simple. I already have a plan for each restore I do, And I already have like a set cost I have with my actual contractor, who I love. Did I mention I love him? But anyways,
You do. There's so many bad ones out here. You better love a good one if you find one.
I'm telling you, but I know how to, you know what, doing the houses thing so long, I already know how to vet him out. Like my father is a crooked one, sorry to say. He kind of told me like, yes, he is. He told me how to basically look for those and how like to deal with contractors. And I know how to deal with them. So when they see me, it's like they see a shark, like, oh, she not playing. I can't get over on her. It's not gonna happen. Nope, it's not. And I negotiate everything. Everything's negotiable. I don't care what it is. So if you come to me and you say, "Oh, well, this is my price," well, somebody else is offering me lower, and I didn't even check for anybody else, and then they're willing to drop their price. And if you're not willing to drop your price, then you're not negotiable, and I'm not. I'm okay. So yeah, I am in real estate, and I love real estate. The only thing I don't like about real estate is I'll say just when I'm trying to buy products and it takes forever for Lowe's or Home Depot to get those products in. I usually try to go to like they have these like warehouses. I don't know where you guys live, but I'm in Atlanta, and they do have like these like resale stores. My husband has one too. So we buy like these trucks off of Home Depot, whatnot, and we actually get like the faucets and stuff for like dumb cheap. So I get like faucets, I get cabinets, I get um all of that stuff for like super cheap. Like you can go get a toilet for like $25. um yeah, so that's like looking for materials and stuff, especially when you're trying to get a deal, because everybody, with the way the economy is going, like everything is inflation, so everything is inflated at this point. Like, so I'm always trying to get a deal, but you can still find deals on houses in this market. um you know what, I thought it was really funny how you can find deals on Facebook Marketplace. I was just found deals the other day, and
Don't
just
tell
I'm a
everybody, Dr. Barbie. That's my secret hiding place. Don't tell them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not even with that
I know.
anymore. I'm
I'm
gonna
just.
tell you what I'm trying to do, Chris. What I'm trying to do is, so I'm from like a little small town, right? And I was like, oh my god. At first, I always thought about having my own, like, cause my contractor, he's amazing. So I thought about getting him to just build me a building, but I was like, no, forget it. I bought this commercial building, right? So I'm back in the country, but it's near the beach, so it's, and you have to pass right by it to go to the beach. So I have these huge plans. This year I plan to do this. I plan to work on this, but I want to turn it into an Airbnb hotel. Where it's going to be set up just like a hotel room, but have the amenities of a home. But and that's what I'm gonna turn part of the building. That's gonna be like four to five sections. That's what I want to do in the building. But have the other side as like an event space with just like a grab and go food. Cause in the country they don't have any of that there. And like the nearest hotel, Chris, is like 45 minutes. So when people who moved out, I'm thinking like, okay, well, I can be I can basically be the bridge. Like, okay, now you have a place to come stay when you stay here, and it's a food place, because they don't have that stuff down there, and they're really looking to spend their money. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do that, and the county is with it. And then the other thing I'm also working on, catch this, a lot of people in the country also don't have places to stay, and there are some who are on, a lot are on Section 8, and they're looking for like the apartments down there to open up, like where I was from, and there's a long wait list, and these people are already approved for like section 8 housing. So my goal was, I already own land down there. My goal is to put at least 10 trailers on the land to create a trailer park, and use and purchase these trailers off of our favorite place, Chris, where we go to get our deals, because there's a lot of deals up there. And I already found somebody to actually haul the trailers. And of course, I have my contractor who will flip them really fast. Just a super quick flip. He said he'll charge me to just redo every trailer like 5K, and I'm paying at least 3 to 6K for the trailer, the land that I already have. Or I can also pull the land really easy. With the interest rates rising, people are going to basically, want to get off of some things off fast. So if I decide to get more land, I could do that too. So that's not a big problem. But yeah, Chris, that's what I want to do. I actually want to create now a whole I'm so excited to create a whole village for or enterprise for low income families where I'm from and other places as well, because I do see it is a need in the country. I think we are like oversaturating the market when it comes to the cities, that we forget about the country. And I don't mind telling you guys my secrets, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like within this space that we can all win, right? It's just up to you to implement your plan and see it through. So yeah, that's something that people are doing. Like they're getting mobile homes and turning them into places, buying land and just putting the mobile homes on land, and renting them out to Section 8 people. And now the government is paying you, not them. And I think they'll at least pay you like 95%. So yeah, that's my plan, Chris. I'm sorry to hold you guys, but thank you for having me. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Dr. Barbie comes in swinging and bucking and bucking and swinging. Thank you for sharing that with us. And, you're definitely going to do all of that and more in 2022 through 2024. So, yes, I want to welcome everybody that's just jumping in. This is the Future Cash Flow Club. Tonight, we're talking about real estate, the late night woke real estate talk with an emphasis on some wholesaling. We'll start talking about that here shortly. But I see we got Mr. Marcus Brown, 20 years in the game. What up, my man?
Oh, yeah, what's going on, man? I appreciate y'all. I'm just actually just enjoying and listening to the conversation, man. I'm not a person of many words, but I'll definitely chime in if I do have something to say. But thank you for having me.
Well, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate that for sure. What's up, Miss Angie? Hey, hey. We need you back in St. Louis.
Hey, Chris. I'm like, I don't know why he brought me up here, but Dr. Barbie, Dr. Barbie, I done hit you on the back channel. Hey, sis. Hey, but Chris, I don't even know what to say. I'm still in a trance by what Dr. Barbie was just talking about. Because I'm in Atlanta too. Chris, you my St. Louis person because that's home. But however, I do reside here in Atlanta.
We need you
So
to come on back north, get some of this cold and some of this snow. You trying to hide out.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I was just home for the holiday. I was like, you know what? I gotta go back to Atlanta. It's starting to get too cold. But Chris, I'm gonna be hitting you up. I got some things shaking in St. Louis though. So yeah, I'm gonna be hitting you up. But I don't have anything to say pertaining to the room, so I'm gonna be quiet and let
I just brought you
the
up to say hi,
talk.
Angie. You can come say hi. Tell me
Hello
what the
everybody.
room is.
I appreciate you, Chris. You are so
Well,
funny.
good to see you. Glad everything's going well. I see you got a book in your hand. What you do? Wrote another book?
Well, of course. My fifth book, my baby, called The F Word: How to Own Your Femininity and Use It to Your Advantage. Yes. So, yeah, I know that has nothing to do with real estate, but yes, that's the book I'm holding.
Well, congratulations on a fifth written book, and I know it's going to go do big things. Do you do audio books as well as what is it, ebooks too, or just printed books only?
I do print it, and I'm actually about to do an audio version of this book because it's like such in demand. People want the audio version, but even though it's a quick read, they still want the audio version. Like my hairstylist and makeup artists and things like that. They want to just listen to it while they work. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to go ahead and make an audio version of this for sure.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, that'll be a game changer. Plus, it'll reach another audience because some people act like they're allergic to a book. So if you put it in audio, they're going to consume your content. And before you know it, you'll have more raving fans all across the world. So thanks again, Miss Angie.
Hey, Chris.
All right, all right. We got Serenity. What's up, Serenity? How are you tonight? What are you doing up so late?
Hey, 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 listen, I am a night person, so I'm usually up at this hour when all of my little people are asleep so I can actually get some work done and be somewhat productive.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, the room tonight, we're going to talk about a little bit of wholesaling real estate. Can you give us like a brief definition? What is wholesaling when it comes to real estate? And give us a little overview. What is that? Because some people may not know.
Absolutely. So, wholesaling is essentially You've heard of flipping, it's flipping paper. So you're assigning your equitable interest within a property to an investor within your market, someone like myself, for a profit. You keep the difference from what you're able to negotiate with your seller and what you're able to negotiate with your buyer. For example, if I say, hey, Mr. Seller, I'll buy your house. It needs some work. It's usually ugly for, let's say, 10,000, and I have end investor who's willing to pay me 20. I keep the $10,000 difference. So you're essentially flipping paper.
Well, now that sounds fun. That sounds interesting. Flipping paper and making paper. Is that what we're doing with this?
And having amazing conversations in the process. Yes, we are.
Well said, well said. And that's what it's all about, having good conversations with people, figuring out what their situation is, and truly trying to help them out. I mean, that's really what I think real estate and entrepreneurship overall is all about. Are we helping the marketplace or people that are in the marketplace solve a problem? So, why would somebody want to sell their property below what it's worth, though?
Typically, they do not have the funds themselves to fix a property. So it could be that that property has a roof that needs to be repaired. It could need, some foundation issues. They could owe back taxes on it. Typically, you get a seller in which the property will not pass a normal inspection for a traditional mortgage, such as an FHA or conventional loan. So the only way to purchase it would be either through cash or creative financing. But typically, a seller will sell if they are in a situation that they don't necessarily have the funds to get themselves out of.
Exactly. All of that is definitely possible. Are there any others that anybody on stage can think of? Why would somebody want to sell their house below retail value?
They may have inherited it and don't want it.
So, an inherited, unwanted
Yep.
property. Somebody in the family dies, and they're like, "Oh man, you just inherited four houses, and you live out of state. You want to go in that state and play real estate? Heck no. Some people don't even like real estate, or feel like they don't like real estate. They don't know they're already in it, just on the wrong side of the equation. But what if they want to get rid of it? So, yes, that is a good one, Mark. Are there any other reasons why somebody would want to sell their house below retail like that?
Yeah, yeah. One of the people I got their house off of them, they actually overpaid at an auction and felt like they were under and they needed their money back for other expenses. So yeah, they was willing to let it go. They were, I guess, so I'm gonna say hard money lenders sometimes. I'm not lenders, but the people who actually have hard money loans, sometimes they kind of want to let their house go if they feel like it, they don't want to put too much work in it.
I like that, Dr. Barbie, because I feel like a lot of people overlook that. These so called investors in training that may not know what they're doing, uh, definitely opportunities can come from that as well. Actually, I've done several deals with people that are trying to be investors that don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to get out of hot water because they either bought the property wrong, didn't have enough money to finish the project, or whatever the situation is. But yes, that is definitely a good one. Are there any others? What?
They could be going through a divorce and just want out, so they decide to sell below.
The D word, divorce. I don't like him and she don't like me. We splitting up. We gonna sell this house. We gonna divide the money up. Quick and easy. Great answer, Jessica. Was there another one?
Tired landlord, difficult tenant, tenants not paying, tenant destroyed the house, or they're just looking to retire altogether.
Yeah, those disgruntled and tired landlords, especially during the pandemic. You like how I said that? Somebody else on this app like to call it that, so I had to say it for them. Shout out to them. The pandemic. All the people that were, not paying rent over that the last 2 years, basically, and there's still people that are behind on rent today. There's still people that are behind on even mortgages today, and those forbearance programs and stuff. So most definitely want to look into those. Were there any others?
I actually purchased two properties for $50,000 from two investors that were just splitting up. One of them was doing all the work, and the other one wasn't doing anything, so they just wanted to cut ties. So they just really just wanted to get away from having the properties, and both of those properties together appraised for like 150.
So you telling me a divorce goes more than just a husband and a wife, or a husband and a husband, or a wife and a wife? It can be a business owner and a partner business owner. We gotta make up to break up. That's all. I got you, Tamika. Were there any other reasons why a person would want to sell their house below retail? This, you know what? I just want out. Is there another reason?
Did anyone mention relocation or employment? Anything like that? Someone said that already?
You own it, Mark. That's right. Relocating for a new job, relocating for a new life, want to start a new life somewhere else. Just want to get out of there. And remember, many times when we're doing these deals, it can be everything we just named, or it can even be something as simple as speed and convenience. They don't want to go through the whole song and dance of people going through the house and open houses, or some people may feel, and it's capital F on that, feel like they don't want to pay a commission to a real estate agent. And they think they're saving money, but they might be even losing money by doing that. Some people don't even, that's another one. They don't even care about money. What about those people? That's like, I don't care. I just don't want the house. I don't even care. I just want to sell it for what I owe on it. And I've done it many times. I asked that question. Well, will you just sell it for what you owe on it? Sure will. And what do we put it under contract for? The loan balance. Whatever the loan balance is at closing, that's what we pay. So that's how I like to do it. Any other comments on any of that?
Yeah, another one would be I've also seen when looking at houses, I'll see some be dirt cheap, but they have a tenant in there for at least 2 years or a year, but they're trying to get it off their hands. Maybe their tenant is not paying their bills. Maybe they have a poor relationship with the tenant. Maybe they're just terrible. But I've definitely seen that a lot where the house is going way undervalued. So yeah, I've seen that.
Yes, yes, yes. That is definitely a possibility. I mean, when you're dealing with people, there's always some type of problem, that's going to come in life, whether that's death, divorce, a disease like the Rona, and many other things that's already been named and more. It can be complex, but you, as a professional real estate investor, must be kind of like a counselor sometime. Have you ever felt like a counselor, Serenity, when you're talking to these people?
All the time. I'm marriage counselor, school counselor, if all types of counselors at the ends. But I think that's one of the things that I love about this industry is you just meet people from all different walks of life. And I'm a big think outside the box person, and just being able to come up with solutions for them, even if it has to be creatively, is one of the things I enjoy. And I was just gonna say, people, my new favorite is those that are underwater. So the value of their property actually went down, but they owe more on their mortgage. Those make phenomenal creative financing deals, and they were some of my favorite clients.
Well said, well said. You want to add something, Terrence?
I was just gonna agree to the counselor part. I'm actually dealing with two homeowners right now where a husband and wife have separated, and the husband and wife aren't talking to each other. So me actually even getting the property under contract, I gotta talk to the husband, and then I gotta go talk to the wife, and then I gotta go talk to the husband, and then I gotta go talk to the wife, because they literally like aren't communicating with each other at all, and it's been 3 years since there's been a payment made on the house. So we're actually trying to hurry up and get in there before they fall into pre-foreclosure and get the deal completed. But right now it's just like me working on counseling somebody's marriage at this point.
So basically, your real estate skills is like very basic, but you have to get serious with the people skills. Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. And it's really sad because, you know, you get to hear everything. Like the husband has been exposed and everything that's really been going on. So kind of getting the behind the scenes, it's like, hey man, I really didn't want to know that. That's none of my business.
Hey, I can definitely understand that because, every situation is different. How are you going to deal with that situation? Solving problems. So Everybody listening in, these are just some of the things you can come across when you're out here willing and dealing, doing this thing called real estate investing. I'm going to reset the room. This is the late night woke real estate talk, talking about a little bit of wholesaling right here out of the Future Cash Flow Club. If you are new here, take a moment, hit that greenhouse at the top, or you can just hit this banner. I put this big old banner here to say shared by Chris Monroe. Hit that, and you can follow this club. And we talk about these topics all the time to help you understand some of the basics and some of the fundamentals of actually getting in the game. Because so many people are on the sideline thinking about getting into real estate, but oh, it's so hard. Oh, it's so difficult. Oh, I don't know where to start. This is where you start with the education. So, in my opinion, I say it's three ways to get into this game. One, the cash buyer, big baller, shot caller, money sitting in the bank, money sitting in the IRA, doing nothing, earning nothing, well, virtually nothing. That's one way to get in. Cash buyer. Two, the credit. You got an 835 credit score, doing nothing with it. Don't take the dirt nap with an 835 credit score. Please don't do that. Attach it to a business, get that money, and make it like it ain't funny. So you got the cash, you got the credit, but third way is the knowledge and information. This is the best way, in my opinion, the knowledge and information, because if you master that, you won't lose your cash and you will not lose your credit. And if you're like me, I don't even use my credit to buy real estate, like Miss Serenity was talking about a minute ago when we started getting into the creative space, which we can talk about that here too tonight if y'all like. But I'm gonna keep this room going for at least another 30 minutes. If there's somebody in the audience has any questions about anything you've heard on this stage, raise your hand. Come on up, say hi, and we'll say bye bye. So yes, that's what we're doing today. So dealing with the seller is one thing, but how do we deal with these buyers? Who would be a buyer for one of these type of deals that we find with one of these sellers with one of these problems?
I would say, I mean, there's buyers everywhere, really. Some of the people that's probably DMing you and asking, hey, how can I get into real estate? So, if I come across a property, the first thing I'll do is contact someone to see if they're really serious. Because if, when I talk to someone about real estate and how to actually start, my knowledge is free. So, I just had someone recently that's tell me that she wanted to come shadow one of the rehabs that I'm doing. And, however, she can add value. But, to me, if I find a property off market, the best way you can add value if you really want to get in is to purchase this property and let me walk you through the rehab process.
There you go. So, what other types? Is there another type of a buyer anybody can think of? What's another type of buyer?
Maybe somebody who wants to start. I say a frugal buyer, a person who doesn't mind paying cash for their house and build, basically doing the rehab themselves. Like that's all. It could be like a college student or maybe a parent buying a college student a home. I've seen that where they don't care how the house look. They're just more like, okay, I just want to get it for a rehab for my son or for we're low income. We are a low income family. I just want to purchase it and just build it up from scratch, or not from scratch, but just gut it out and basically just do a rehab. So I have seen that. And or Chris, just to add, um I think Tamika was saying I think she was saying investor, but sometimes those investors who have hard money loans, they'll try to come and see if they can buy your house from under you because they want to do the whole block and get the start the renovations as well. So that's another type of buyer.
Well said, Dr. Barbie. So, we got the cash buyer. That's typically who we're targeting if we were able to get one of these so called wholesale type transactions under contract. Are there any other types of buyers that anybody can think of? Another type.
Buy and hold.
The buy and hold long term rental type landlord. Yes, those people, in my experience, pay a little bit more. than a flipper. I mean, would you agree? Would anybody agree with that? Am I thinking about that wrong?
Yes.
No, you're right, because I'm that
There
person.
you go. That's why you're my favorite type of buyer. Actually, you're not my favorite type. I got a favorite type. I'll tell y'all in a minute. Is there another type of buyer that anybody can think of? So we got the cash buyer that's looking to flip. We got the cash buyer that's looking to hold. Is there any other type of buyer? What what about the buyer that's going to be a retail buyer that's willing to pay pretty close to retail, if not retail? A person that's paying, pretty much top dollar that's going to move into the house themselves. Those are the ones that pay a little bit more than even the landlord guy or landlord gal. They'll pay more. The retail buyer. Is there another type of buyer you all can think of?
Brokers. I don't think a lot of people think about them, but I get a lot of brokers that will purchase the property cash, and they usually have like their husband or spouse or friend that's a contractor, and then they have a retail buyer ready to go. Or a lot of times too, like a non-for-profit sometimes will purchase from wholesale deals so they can actually put it to their rent-to-own clients.
Boom. You got it. That's another one, Serenity. Great one there. Can anybody else think of another type of buyer that we haven't mentioned? You did kind of mention the tenant buyer. Definitely, that's my number one go-to favorite buyer, the tenant buyer that gives us, that's getting into the creative space, but you can structure these deals, whether it's, a deal that started off as a wholesale transaction. If you converted it to some type of terms where you have a period of time that you can make payments on that property, you can install what we call a tenant buyer into that property. They'll give you a nice chunk of money to move in, a monthly payment each and every month while you wait. And then, in the event they decide to cash you out, you get another payday to cash you out in full. So, the tenant buyer, that's actually my favorite type of buyer. Are there any other types of buyers anybody can think of?
Did you guys mention hedge
I
funds?
knew somebody was going to do it. I ain't want to give all the answers out. Come on. The alkaline investor. I knew you weren't going to leave me hanging. I ain't want to say all the answers, but yes, the hedge funds. What's so good about hedge funds, though?
From my experiences, hedge funds typically like you will have a better chance of offloading if you have a portfolio you're working with.
There you go. And they pay a little more from what I understand as well. So you got all these different types of buyers. Every buyer has a different type of need. Just like you have motivated sellers. What if you can find a motivated buyer to pay more than they should? Wow. Now you're making money. Wow. Look at that. It'll surprise you. Any other types of buyers anybody can think of?
The end of the year 1031 buyer.
Woo, you're cooking with grease, Serenity. I got one right now. I'm actually got one under contract with the seller. She's selling her condo, but she wants to buy a bigger property right after that using that 1031 exchange. Yes. So we basically got a seller and a buyer all in the same box. All we got to do is put them in a bow around that box and we ready to flow. So yes, that is another one. Great one, Serenity. Are there any other types of buyers you can think of? Did we run out of buyers? Is that it?
No, foreign foreign
They got
investors.
era money. I don't hope nobody get mad on me, but that that's what I think of when you said that, though. Yes, they spend that money too. They got era money. They want to spend that money and get in the game for sure, and they spend it, especially in those competitive markets like LA and other places like that. So yes, these are just some of the types of buyers that could be the buyer for the deal you have found that you thought was a wholesale deal. DeMarco, what up, my man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, brother. Just taking everything in. I was wondering if I could share something with the room.
Get
Uh,
yeah, give me a second. We're in the middle of a thing now, so just hold that. Come
okay.
back to you in a minute. In fact,
All right, no problem.
yeah, no problem. And I think Natalie was up here first. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. You like the content of the room so far? Has it been sparking some interest and some thoughts?
It has been. So I'm grateful for all the information shared. So appreciate everyone. Um, I wanted to, you said something that I'm not sure if it's time to speak on. But you mentioned about, oh, excuse me, not using your personal credit. So would you be willing to share, about what, a little more about that? So do you use your business credit, or is there just, or are these creative deals in lieu of using the credit?
All right, Natalie, you came up swinging and bucking and swinging. You're cooking with hot fish grease tonight. You want to put me to work, I see, huh? Yeah, we
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
yeah, we can definitely go into that. Let me make sure we round out this wholesaling part first, and then I'll get into that creative finance. So, were there any other questions or comments in regards to cash buyers at all?
Are there any other ones that you can think of, Chris, that we didn't mention? Because there were a whole bunch that was said that didn't even come to my mind.
Developer.
The developer. I knew Serenity had more. She never runs out. She's the best. So yes, developers. They want to build from the ground up. They might want your land, especially when you're down there in Florida, Mark. They like to do land down there. Who will do land?
Oh, the auction in a couple days that I will be having my little eyes on.
It's a tax auction coming up in a couple of days there.
Yeah, tax deed.
You got enough money, or you need me to send you some?
Might need you to float your boy a little something if it's a whole bunch of them that I want, and then we'll handle it on the back end.
All right, Serenity, go ahead and wire them over 500,000. That should be enough to get them started.
Man, listen, I'm like, wait a minute. You know I'm in Florida now too, so I'm like, wait a minute. What county? What city? Where we at?
Y'all sound like them hedge fund people, them unlimited funds people.
Ah, you know it. It ain't no shortage of money, but there is a shortage of opportunity.
Mm. Yeah, smoke them with that one, Chris.
Yes, yes. So with the auction coming up, that's good, and I'll get into some of this creative finance if everybody's okay. Were there any other questions on the stage before I get into this long rabbit hole of rabbit holes? Uh-oh, somebody trying to come up. Yeah, if you're in the audience and you have a question, come on up. Throw your hand in the air and wave it like you just don't care. What up, my man Kirk?
How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
I'd be a whole lot better if you came up and said, "Man, I got 20 million. I want to send it over and get into this auction with y'all." Did you come up to say that?
Hey, look, man. I ain't got 20 million, but I do got a little bit of capital that I'm looking to invest in Tesson real estate, just with the right people.
Well, do you know that guy named Chris Monroe out of St. Louis? That's somebody you need to connect with quickly.
Most definitely, bro. I'm finna check you out right now.
100%. So thanks for coming up. And were there any other questions or anything on stage before we get into this creative financing portion?
I don't have a question, Chris, but I do want to mention a hilarious thing that you missed in the last room where me and Lakeisha was in when you're done. It was hilarious.
What was it? What happened? Go ahead and enlighten us.
It was a whole lot of capping going on, and they brought your boy back from the dead, man. I was trying to lie dormant, and the boy came in capping. Marcus was there. You know what happened. He came in capping, so I had to lay down some slapping.
Oh, not that one dude trying to challenge you. I think I heard some of it. Yeah, I think I heard he was trying to argue with you about something or something. Yeah, I remember that. I heard some of it.
Man, this man came in and said, Chris, that if you and I both had the same portfolio and assets and went to the bank for a loan or to conduct some type of transactional business, that because he had a real estate license, he would get approved faster than me.
That would be false.
I know. I
Lies.
know, but
Exactly. Exactly.
Super
Is
false.
that on the bank's checklist? Do you have a real estate license? Check. No.
Mm.
no, the bank cares about three C's: credit, capacity, and collateral. That's what they're concerned with. As long as you meet those three, You're approved.
Come on with it, Mark. You ain't playing. You up here. Let him know what it's all about. So he didn't know he was dealing with a heavyweight. He thought he was chatting with a lightweight.
Yeah, he thought you just left us in the room at some stand-ins. He didn't know my reputation because I've been gone for such a long time. He felt it was safe to cap.
Ah!
You know what I mean? It was not safe in these streets, man. This is awarded to all people. You come in Chris' room, Captain, or any room I'm in, we will expose you, boy. You heard?
That's right. All we do is put out good information that you can actually go and use and make it do what it do.
That was it. I
So
ain't mean to interrupt. My bad, Miss Natalie. I'll let Chris do what he do.
no, you cool, you cool. We needed a good little segue in there, and also for people jumping in, this is the late night woke real estate talk. We talked about a little bit of wholesaling, just some basics for people that's just jumping in. If you missed it, too bad. So sad. There's a replay. This is the Future Cash Flow Club. If you are new here, hit the greenhouse at the top. Follow this club. Follow these moderators that are assisting as well, and anybody else you resonated with on stage because they're helping you get paid. And they're doing this for free at 11:44 Central Standard Time. Let's see here. So about buying real estate. Can you buy real estate without using your credit?
Yes.
Yes.
But
And
they told me I had to have a 620 credit score and 20% down. Is that true?
they lied. You could have a 420 negative bank account.
Yep.
So you saying you can have a negative bank account and a 420 credit score and still buy a house? How so?
What's up, too?
My man DeMarco came up with it. So yes, uh so to answer your question, Miss Natalie, you still with me? Natalie.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
I just want to make sure you were nearby. So I ain't go through
Okay.
this whole thing and then you be like, you know what? I ain't hear nothing you just said. I was on the phone with Auntie
Mm-mm.
Sylvia or somebody, whoever.
I'm here.
We was over here cooking some chicken. I ain't hear it. So yes, creative real estate, creative financing. It's my specialty. I've built a nice size portfolio buying real estate without using my credit. One of the strategies that I use to buy real estate is what Mr. DeMarco just said. One's called Sub 2, which is short for Subject to. And for those wondering, what is Subject to? Subject to just simply means you're going to purchase a house subject to the existing financing, meaning you're going to leave the financing in place on the property and you're going to transfer the deed, which is ownership, to you. So you have the debt, which is the loan on the property, and then you have the deed, which is actually ownership. Now, that deed, that has nothing to do with any liens, encumbrances, debt on the property, anything that goes with it. Whoever has the deed, whoever's on the deed, has actual ownership. And many people think when you buy a house, you must pay the loan off. That's not true. You can simply leave the loan in place, transfer the deed subject to the existing financing, purchase the house, and you'll be good to go. Now, there's a couple of moving parts inside of all of that, but I did just want to give you an overview of that. Have you ever heard of anything like that before, Miss Natalie?
Little bit, but not in detail.
Oh, you want me to go in detail? Oh my
Let's
God!
go. Let's go. Yes, please.
So, when you so I mean, do you have a question about anything I just stated at all, or all that just made perfect sense to you?
No, I'm following so far.
So I mean, that's basically it. I mean, there's other, like I say, other moving parts that you must do. That I recommend. I should say, not must. I recommend that you do certain things to make sure that this is done properly. For example, disclose. You're going to disclose that the loan is staying in the seller's name. You're going to disclose that the loan is going to be on their credit report. You're going to disclose that, anything that you need to disclose. There's a bunch of others as well. I don't want to go over them all right here, but yes, you need to do that. Also, when we buy these houses, we typically get what's called a limited power of attorney. A limited power of attorney, POA, limited power of attorney, so that we can deal with the affairs of that property after it's transferred from that seller. We don't want to have to go back and say, Mr. Seller, I bought your house 3 years ago. Can you call the bank for me and see about the wiggle waggle tickle toggle? No. When we buy the house and close, we're done. We're not going back asking for permission about paint jobs, asking for permission about dealing with the bank, asking for permission about any of that stuff. When we buy the house, we own it and they're out of the way. Why would someone sell their house subject to the existing financing? Can somebody give me one reason why? Just one reason. Why would somebody want to do
Can't
that?
afford it.
Cannot afford the payments. Yes, financial issues in that person's life. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they got the Rona. Maybe something happened. The spouse died and they can't afford the other half of the money or whatever. Issues happen all the time. If they simply cannot afford the property anymore and they want to get out from under it, we give them something called debt relief. We're going to relieve them of those debt payments going forward. We're going to take over those payments. We're not assuming any loans. I want to be clear. We're not not assuming a loan, not putting a loan in our name at all. The loan is staying in the seller's name, the borrower's name, the prior owner's name, but we're going to make payments directly to the bank on behalf of that borrower. Make sense so far, Natalie?
Yes.
So, can't make the payments, that's one way. Is there another reason why a person would be willing to sell their house in this manner?
Wanting to downsize.
Wanting to downsize. Empty nesters, one of my favorite types of sellers. The kids have grown up and gone to college. The kids have grown up and moved in with their boyfriend, their girlfriend, or whoever. They're making babies and doing all this grown folk stuff. They don't want to deal with it no more. So we don't need this 4 bedroom, 3 bath house. And it's just me. I'm going to sell it and move into a condo, move into an apartment, move into something smaller because I'm no longer a baller. Thanks for that, DeMarco. Any other one reason a person would be willing to sell their house subject to?
To avoid a short sale.
Ooh, that's right.
That's that's one right there.
Avoiding the short sale. Yes, that is one reason. And for people wondering, what is a short sale, Serenity?
It's where you essentially are selling your house for less than what you owe your lender for it.
Yes, yes, that's right. The lender's going to agree to take a shorter payoff than what is owed on that property at that time. And yes, you can get deep, 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 deep discounts, but you better be the real end buyer most of the time. But I don't want to get into that rabbit hole unless you're creative and innovative. But yes, is there another reason why a person would be willing to sell their house subject to?
Inherited home.
Yes, inherited, inherited. Great one, DeMarco. In fact, all of those reasons that we said earlier is the reason. All of those reasons that we said a person would be willing to sell their house as a typical wholesale type transaction are the same reasons they may be open to something more creative. But it's up to you to shift them from the mindset of, hey, I just want all cash and all fast. Come on with it. To, hey, I mean, if we were able to work everything out, would you accept monthly payments until we pay you off in full sometime in the future here? You don't know what they're going to say. So you have to be a professional question asker, a professional investigator, a professional counselor, and a deal closer for sure. So buying a house subject to, that's basically the overview, Miss Natalie. Any questions on the stage?
I want to say thank you.
That's right. That's right.
Appreciate you touching on it.
Oh, Chris, I just wanted to take 2 seconds to clear something up. You can have a 420 credit score, a negative bank account, but you will need a little bit of cash for closing most times. I just want to make sure ain't no cap going on in the room.
That's right, Mark. No capping at all. But guess what? If you are truly creative and innovative, you can use the end tenant buyer or the person you're going to put into the property's money to close the deal. So to do real estate, you really don't even need money and you really don't even need credit, but you do need the knowledge to know how to make it all come together. There's two sides typically to most transactions. You have the seller side and the buyer side. Can you make them come together in any weather? If you're able to do that, you can definitely make it happen, regardless of what's in your bank account, regardless of what's on your credit report, and any of that, because we're not getting our credit pulled. In fact, I bought lots of property and I've never had my credit pulled to buy a house yet. I don't even know how to qualify for a loan from the bank, but I do know how to buy that real estate. But that's all comes down with the proper training and the proper information. You can learn this stuff. It's not that difficult. You can learn it in, less than a month and really be doing your deal, as soon as Valentine's Day. You can be closed by Valentine's Day if you're serious about this. Did you have something else, Mark?
No, just applauding everything you're saying.
Well said. Thank you for that. And so, when we buy these houses creatively, many times we sell them creatively as well. So, we want to buy a house subject to, but we would sell it on a different thing. We may sell it on what we call a wrap around mortgage, especially those of you that are in like states like Texas. We may sell it on a wraparound mortgage, where it's basically a form of seller financing. We're going to buy it creatively and sell it creatively. Another exit strategy once we purchase these properties subject to is my favorite exit strategy, known as lease options, known as lease purchase, known as rent to own. These are all synonymous, different programs that you would create internally within your organization to install what we call a tenant buyer. That tenant buyer will put a non refundable option fee down to move in. They will pay you a monthly payment. It better be more than whatever your underlying debt payment is, because we don't pay for houses that we don't live in for sure. The people that live in it pay for it. And then, thirdly, if they are to activate the option, then you would get another big check on the back end, depending on the difference in what the loan balance is versus what you sold it to them for on the lease purchase. Now, when we sell these properties on a lease purchase type transaction, we are going to usually sell it for more than the value of the property. When we sell a house with financing, I typically like to add 5 to 10% or more to the purchase price, to the ARV, or the after repair value of that property, and sell it for more because they're willing to pay more. Many times they are not price sensitive. However, they may be sensitive to the down payment. However, may be sensitive to the monthly payment. But other than that, most of the time they are good to go. Now, these people that I'm talking about that are called tenant buyers, these people typically have what we call challenged credit. So their credit score is not necessarily a factor in my mind. It may be in some people's, but in my mind, I don't care if you got a 354. If you can go that low, it doesn't matter. If you got 50,000 down, I can put you in any property. If you got 30,000 down, I can put you in pretty much any property. If you got 15,000 down, I can probably get you approved. If you got money, you can get in the house, and it ain't even funny. Any questions about any of that? So that's going to do it. If everybody's good and they got it, that's all I'm going to say about that. So that's just a little touch of some of the stuff we can do in creative real estate. It's a game changer. You can buy as many houses as you can find. I'm not asking the bank for permission to buy any banks or buy any houses or buy any banks. I'm about a bank too. No, it's getting late. It's almost midnight here. I'm not asking for permission from the bank to buy the house. This works best when working direct with the seller. You can do these deals with real estate agents involved, but it's going to be harder, much harder, because you have to convince these cooks in the kitchen that is still going to be a good finger licking good dinner. So yeah, I don't like to have too many cooks in the kitchen. I like to get direct to seller, and I can work a deal out with them directly, and they'll respect me. What do you think about that, Tamika?
Sounds good.
I have a question, if you don't
I knew
mind.
you had one. I'm like, what is she waiting on?
Just to, um, so you find the seller. So do you find that sellers, is it because you're finding sellers that typically just want to get the process done? There, it's just there. It just seems like that they're more apt to deal with you than an agent, right? Am I hearing that correctly?
Well, Natalie, I have something called, and I don't know if you can teach this. It's called the likability factor. Are you likable?
I am likable.
Can you
I like to think
communicate
so.
effectively with people who own real estate? Are
Absolutely.
you a good listener?
I'm a very good
Are
listener.
you a good counselor?
Yes,
Can you solve problems? Well,
absolutely.
it sounds like you have the basic tool bag to be able to do this stuff, but you have to be trained up to understand how to actually structure these deals, how to communicate effectively, how to explain this in a way that it doesn't seem confusing to a seller. I don't tell a seller, hey, I'm going to buy your house subject to. No,
Mm-hmm.
we want to talk a little more regular, plain Jane. We don't want to use insider industry jargon when we're talking to homeowners. If there's a way, Mr. Seller, we can buy your house and give you the exact price you're asking for, would you be open to taking a monthly payment until we pay you off in full? They're either
Mm-hmm.
going to say yes, no, or what the heck you talking about, man? That's the only answer they can give you. And as long as you have the proper rebuttals or the answers to those rebuttals or those problems they're going to throw back at you and objections they're going to throw back at you, you can make a deal.
Sounds good. Okay, that's fair.
So that's like I said, this is just very, very basic what I'm going over today. If you are interested in actually learning how to do this stuff step by step, and you or anybody in the audience, there's a link above. It's called wokerealestate.com. There's a website full of information on this types of stuff. There's videos on there. There's the actual paperwork on there to make the paperwork. If you're looking for the contracts for whether it's a wholesale type deal, if you're looking for the paperwork such as deals to do seller financing, if you're looking for the paperwork to do what they call subject to wraparound mortgages, lease options, you name it, anything I talk about, the documentation is there available for you at wokerealestate.com. Check that out. And if you really don't know what you're doing, there's coaching available as well. If you really want to say, hey, I kind of get it, but I don't really get it all the way, walk me through this thing. How does this really work? What are some of the words we want to say? What are the words we don't want to say, which is very important as well? There's certain things you want to stay away from. And that's what we talk about during the coaching. So I have a coaching platform as well. So check that out, wokerealestate.com. Any other questions? So we'll keep this open here for a few more minutes because it's getting past my bedtime. I just wanted to come in and chime in with the family. DeMarco, you said you had something to share. I hope it's juicy.
Oh no, no! It wasn't nothing like a story or anything. I had a document that I wanted to share with the whole
Yeah,
platform. I send it
yeah.
to every customer.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
don't want to do that though, Demarco. I don't because I haven't even seen that document, and I want to protect the integrity of the audience. I just don't like to, send out stuff I haven't seen, or they say, "Well, I got that thing listening to Chris Monroe," and if it's some junk and they get in some trouble, who they gonna come back and talk to? Chris Monroe. So I'd rather not do that, Demarco. But I do appreciate you coming up and trying to do that. I mean, I just don't want, if somebody want to get with him, back channel him and see what he got. If you want to do that at your own apparel, I have not seen it. I don't know nothing about
Okay,
it.
don't stop. Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, no problem. So yeah, and I just I like to keep everything clean and above board with everybody, because all of this stuff can get confusing with people. As far as real estate is concerned, I try to make it simple, like a pimple, and that's how we try to roll. Any comments, Mark?
Um, I'm a man of few words at times, but I did learn something new today, Chris, pertaining to tax deeds and tax liens. I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form. And I'll tell you this by the question that I had. You'll know I'm a novice immediately. So, I thought that debts stay in place if you were to purchase a tax lien property or a tax deed property. But I learned in the state of Florida that by law, the mortgage is removed from the property, although it stays with the actual previous homeowner. It's no longer attached to the property. So when you get these properties, if you successfully bid on one and do obtain it, it's free and clear. How about that? It turned me up.
Boom! Look at that, Mark. And that's the thing. Every jurisdiction is different, and that's why certain states and certain counties and certain locations are better than others because, like you just said, it wipes it out. See, it's a little bit different here in St. Louis. So in St. Louis County, if someone purchases a tax lien, it's not a deed in St. Louis. We get the tax lien certificate here, and you have to wait that redemption period out. Ugh, that's no fun. But in the
Mhm.
city of St. Louis, We're in the same state though. The city of St. Louis, you get the deed and you don't have to do all of that. So it just depends. Every jurisdiction is different. Make sure you understand what you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with those tax liens and tax auctions, because all places are not the same. Get you a good real estate attorney that understands that. Get you a good quiet title suit to make sure you got a clean and unencumbered title, and you'll be ready to take them down. Good one there, Mark.
Funny you mentioned quiet title. I'm literally watching a video on it right now, learning what it is and how to apply it and what it does. So this stuff is crazy, man. I think 2022 is going to be a wonderful year.
Oh yeah, especially in this real estate space, because there's so many things you can do. So many, whether it's wholesaling, creative finance, buying tax liens, flipping, doing development, short-term rentals, Airbnb, all of these different things you can do. But it's so important to really understand that niche. Short sales that Serenity brought up earlier, all of that stuff. You want to understand the one you're in because there could be confusing and all areas are not the same. Some have better laws, better landlord friendly laws, or some are more tenant friendly laws. You really want to know what you're dealing with because it can really be a mess and we want you to do your best. Thanks for sharing that, Mark. Any comments, Miss Serenity?
Yes, I was just gonna say, if you don't mind, I was just gonna share two quick lead sources for me for two different strategies. For someone with wholesaling, now I only recommend this if you have some experience, but I like to focus on those that are coming up for share sale within a 2 week period. Usually, I find with those motivated sellers, they don't want that blemish on their personal record. So they're willing to move a little faster as far as documents or things you may need as far as helping them get their property sold. Because in some states, now again, depending on your state's foreclosure process, but in Wisconsin, they have up until the date of confirmation. So I like to catch them before that date of confirmation and either purchase or help get that property sold. And then as far as for sub two deals, now it's been working for me, but I actually go through Craigslist and look at the for rents. And if it's been listed for rent for 30 days or longer, I will actually reach out to that landlord and see if they're interested in selling since they're already willing to accept a monthly payment on a rental basis.
Powerful, Serenity. Yes, we want to have conversations with people who own property because the sky is not even the limit, whether that's a rental. You can do what we call a rent with an option to buy or a lease with an option to buy with that renter or that landlord. You can tell them, what if I lease your property, pay you a monthly payment, and relieve you of majority of the maintenance and repairs? Anything over $500, you'll be responsible for. Anything under $500, I'll be responsible for. Something to that effect. Or 100% of it if you want to be silly, but I wouldn't do that. But just goes to show having the conversations with the right people can definitely make deals happen. So I'm about to land this plane here in the next couple of minutes. Any other questions on the stage or in the audience?
No, it's past midnight. Serenity. I like the Craigslist tip. I never thought about that. I was looking at the sheriff sale, the auctions in my area earlier tonight, just seeing what was out there so I could contact the homeowners, but I never thought about the Craigslist. Good tip.
That's right. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups. You got what? Offer Up, if it's still up and running, as well as really anywhere you can have a conversation with people who have real estate. Zillow. Don't think Zillow. I've gotten deals from Zillow, by the way. People say, you can't get nothing off Zillow. Well, I think I bought about three off there. So, that's more than one. So that's good. Any other questions or comments?
I have a comment, Chris.
Come on with it, Big Mark.
Real quick one. Just give you your flowers while you're here because that's a habit we need to have. So thank you so much for this room and being a wealth of knowledge, brother. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody really appreciates it. Everything you do, all the time that you give, the good spirit that you put people in, your positive energy, it's much appreciated. You don't know how much you help people, bro.
And that's what I want to do more of. Thanks for that, Mark. I appreciate that. Anyone else? Any other comments or questions?
No, but I'll second what Mark said. It's not very often, especially when you have people that reach a certain caliber in real estate, that they're willing to not only give a resource, but be a resource. Sometimes they give you just enough information, but not all of it, versus you host these rooms, you're constantly in other people's rooms providing insight, knowledge, and the whole resource. And whether people seize that opportunity or act on it is one thing, but thank you for that, because not a lot of people will actually do that.
Thank you, Serenity. We appreciate you being here as well as Mark and everybody else that came in, because the room isn't a room without you. So showing up is important. Helping people is important. And everybody listening on this app, don't think this is just a regular old app like Instagram, like YouTube, like TikTok, like whatever else you own, because I've actually done deals from this app. Wholesale transactions. I bought houses from this app. I've actually found private money lenders from this app, learned a lot of stuff from this app. So get on these stages, ask questions, be a participant. Don't just sit in the audience and listen and listen. Oh, yeah, I heard of it, but I don't think that's for me. Get in the game. 2022 is your year. You got it up in here. Any other comments or questions?
I have another question.
I knew you wasn't going to run out that easy.
Hey now. Can I get because you guys already went over this. So can I get the cliff notes about why um hedge people in hedge fund or hedge funds are a good group to approach?
Because they got more money than they can ever spend. That's the short answer.
So meaning that the people who work in the hedge fund industry or them as the hedge funds, they tend to buy real estate. Is that
Because real estate is one of the best investments you can make, if not the best investment you can make. And when you have a bunch of money, where are you going to put it at?
that makes sense. Okay. That's actually a good. I have a directory of hedge fund folks, and I'm gonna work on leveraging that. So thank you, I appreciate that.
There you have it. Find out what they're looking for and bring it to them on a silver platter, and you'll have some more big old checks and make your bank account fatter. You like that one, Mark? That was a freestyle.
You know you always dropping them bars, bro.
Well said. So I hope everybody got some good information. I'll leave this replay up for about a day or so. I'm probably going to delete it though, to be honest. But hopefully everybody got some info they like. Don't forget to follow me on all social media outlets at ChrisMonroeSTL. That's Snapchat, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's YouTube, that's TikTok. And we on ClubHouse and even fan base at ChrisMonroeSTL. So, with all that being said, do what you do, be who you be, and I'll see you before you see me. Peace in the Middle East. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by FutureCashFlowFunding.com. Whether you're looking for flicks and flip funding, you're looking for long-term 30-year financing, or just a simple bridge loan, get financing today on your non-owner occupied real estate. Learn more at FutureCashFlowFunding.com. Don't wait to buy real estate and wait. FutureCashFlowFunding.com. That's FutureCashFlowFunding.com.